All right, great. We are now recording. So, hey, my name is Ben Briggs. I am a study abroad advisor here, and I'm going to be leading this session. Um, Again, just a quick note that this session is being recorded. And something I would just like to start by doing is, again, introducing myself as well as Kate. Again, my name is Ben Briggs. I am a study abroad advisor at UNC Chapel Hill. Some of you, I advise for you for your region of the world, so it's great to see you all again. But I'll be walking you through this presentation, and helping me walk you through this presentation will also be Kate. Kate, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Kate Hermsmeyer. I advise for IES programs as well as a few in France, and I'll be helping out Ben.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. So just in terms of, before we actually get started today, this is a general session. So this is really meant to just be a general overview for you to really go over some important stuff that you need to know from UNC's end when you go abroad when it comes to health insurance credits. Well, some of it's a little bit dry, but I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible. I'm also just going to try to realize that your time is valuable, and I don't want to have you hang here for too long. So Kate and I will really try to be as concise as possible, give you the information you absolutely need you to know, and then have you be on your way. We'll also have plenty of time for questions at the end. So if you do have any questions, we will definitely be happy to answer those at the end. If something's super important and you really want to ask, then do unmute yourself. But otherwise, yeah, we will have that time at the end.
You can also put it in the chat too, and we can get to it after.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Great job. All right, so moving forward, it almost seems like, oh, why are we still talking about it? But we do have to continue to talk about COVID-19 because it is still an issue. It's a lot less of an issue for study abroad than it was a year ago or 2 years ago, but it's still there. The good news is that in terms of our fall 2022 programs, we are good to go. You are here because your program and your region of the world was approved. So that's awesome news. And the way we are moving forward is we are working on a case-by-case basis with all of the partners for all of the programs you're going on. So for each and every program that is represented here today, we are working with your partners to make sure they are good to go, they're meeting all the protocols, and your country is safe to travel to. So I just wanted to let you know that we are continually working behind the scenes to make sure that everything is in place, and to make sure you have a safe and honestly meaningful experience. We really want you to go and try to live your normal life as much as you can during COVID times, and we're really excited by that. But if you would like to learn a little bit more, this link at the bottom of the page here is right on our website, and it can really help you when it comes to COVID-19 FAQs. Our agenda today, I'm not going to go through and read all of this to you, but I just wanted to make you aware of what we would talk about today. As I said, a fair amount of it is administrative, but it's also some of those questions that maybe you'll ask in 2 weeks, or even worse, your parents might ask in 2 weeks. So I just want to make sure to give you this overview before we do dive into these specific topics. So before you go, you are getting ready. A couple of things that are great for you to know, as well as your guardians, anyone who might be paying for your program, or dealing with your registration. First things first, for billing, if you check out the link that we've provided in this presentation, and we will send this out to you as well, we will be following the fall 2022 guidelines when it comes to billing. So what that means for you is that your billing will be initiated in July, and it will be due in August. So you're not going to find your fall 2022 billing in your Connect Carolina account tomorrow or the next day. It will still be a little bit of time. However, it will be there in July, and it will be due in early August. In terms of your registration, however, that has begun. You have very likely already been registered with your fall 2022 placeholder. However, if you haven't, as a result of some holds on your account, or for some reason we weren't able to do that, please reach out to me. And if it is specific for those holds, please do clear your holds so we are able to register you for fall 2022. Otherwise, you are not able to study abroad, and that would be super unfortunate. So clear those holds. For health insurance, most of you will be covered by GeoBlue health insurance. And basically, that is the insurance that you probably read about on our website or heard about from your advisor. What this is the health insurance that all UNC Study Abroad students have. It's run through the university, so anyone who travels internationally, even when I travel for work, I'm covered with GeoBlue. Some of you, in addition to GeoBlue, or perhaps in some small cases, you're actually not covered by GeoBlue, you're covered just by your host party. You know, you will be covered by insurance regardless. Most of you are GeoBlue. Some of you will just have your insurance provided by your actual program. But just a couple of important things to go over. You will be getting enrollment confirmation prior to departure. So maybe 2 weeks prior to going, you will get an email from likely GeoBlue or whoever is providing your health insurance, just reminding you that, hey, you are enrolled, please activate your profile. Please, please, please do activate your profile. It's really, really important that you kind of get a head start on that, because you don't want to get over to your site and say, oh, you know, I haven't done any research on my health insurance, and then maybe you need to go see a doctor. So please download the app. Please do create your online profile, and please do complete any research that you think might be helpful for you to complete prior to departure. Maybe looking up specialty doctors, anything like that. Just making sure you're aware of the resources that are available to you before you go. Something else that will be really great for you will be the before and after insurance. If you do want to travel before or after, that's something that you can add. However, that can't occur until you're actually enrolled. So do wait until you get your email from UNC saying, hey, you're enrolled in your health insurance. At that point, you can then add your before and after. Don't try to do that now. Again, UNC will be registering you. You don't need to register. But once you receive that email, you can move forward with the before or after insurance. In terms of your home health insurance, please, 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 please do keep your home health insurance. If for some reason you need to come back because of a medical emergency, the last thing we want is for you to be uninsured when you return to the United States, because medical costs are absolutely exorbitant here. So please don't think because you're covered by international health insurance that you can drop your domestic policy. That's really not the case. And you really don't want to be in a position where you are rushed home because of a medical emergency and you are not covered. So do keep that in mind. And then finally, in relation to COVID-19, COVID-19 care is absolutely covered by GeoBlue. However, evacuation is not covered. So our fingers are crossed that that does not have to become an issue. We're hoping no one is evacuated as a result of COVID-19. But please do know that general care related to COVID-19 is absolutely covered when it comes to your health insurance. Money. You know, this can really vary from country to country. It truly can be so different, but I just wanted to throw out some general tips and tricks for y'all so you have a better sense of, you know, what to do when it comes to your specific experience. So the first thing is absolutely create a budget and stick to it. It's really hard to have a sense of kind of how much spending will occur and when exactly it will occur, but it always really helps to kind of just do a guess before you go, build out a budget, and then maybe your first week or two, just see how that budget is playing out. Maybe you need to adjust it, but do stick to a budget that you created before you go. It'll be really, really helpful for you. A couple of things that you can use while you're abroad, just like you can use them domestically: Venmo, Splitwise, Mint. These are all things that are absolutely still going to be available to you, and they are really great at tracking your money, tracking your banking. So please do keep those in mind. While you are abroad, you can still use those. In terms of banks, debit cards, credit cards, please notify them. It's really, really important, because you don't want to not notify them, get abroad, and then realize all of your accounts are locked when you try to use your debit card or try to use your credit card. So usually a very quick call or a very quick chat online will suffice, and they will just ask for your travel dates. You can provide them, and then you will be good to go. And they will be able to unlock your card while you are abroad, something that will be very, very helpful so you can actually spend money. For some countries, they do highly, highly encourage you to have PINs. So you probably know by now, obviously a debit card has PINs, but increasingly credit cards also have the ability to have PINs in them. So if your credit card that you currently use has the ability to add a PIN to it, I do recommend doing that. The United States is kind of the Wild West of digital security. You know, you'll like run something and maybe you'll sign your signature. No one actually really checks things. In a lot of countries, that's actually different. For instance, in the United Kingdom, when you sign something, they'll actually look at the receipt and they'll make sure that it matches your actual name. They'll ask for your domestic driver's license. It's just a lot different. So you can avoid a lot of that just by having a PIN and not having to prove a lot of those identity related issues. Also related to banking, make sure you're checking foreign transaction fees. This is something that can definitely hit you. So before you go, check out your bank, see what the charges would be to withdraw money from an ATM. See what, if your credit card charges any foreign transaction fees. You really don't want to take a credit card over and then realize after a month that you've been getting charged $2 per transaction because you're just in another country. So do make sure you are checking that. And do also know that there's lots and lots of credit cards out there that have no foreign transaction fees, no annual fees that you have to worry about. So you can be over there safely spending your money. And then just a couple of other things to consider, table service charges, splitting checks, tipping. You'll want to keep all of these things in mind when you're abroad. Each country is a little bit different culturally. So you want to just keep in mind, hey, how do people tip here? Is it very common to split checks, or is one person going to pay? Things like that. You just want to be aware of it because, not every country runs like America. So make sure you are financially just kind of aware of your surroundings as you go into your experience. You're almost certainly going to ignore this next slide. Everyone does. I tell them what to pack. They take what I say and then they pack roughly 10 times more than that. And then they come back and say, Ben, you were right. And I say, I know. But honestly, it took me probably 2 or 3 travel experiences to figure this out as well. So I forgive you in advance for not listening to the next slide, but basically pack way, way lighter than you actually think you need to pack. I know you're going abroad for a semester, so you think you need to bring your whole bedroom and perhaps half of your house, but the fact is you actually won't use much of that. And you're also going to want to bring quite a bit home with you. So you will want to keep in mind that you'll want to have space in your packing to be able to bring stuff home with you. So generally, my advice is, hey, pack your bag, take out 50% of it, and then repack and then take out another 50%. And then that's probably what is going to be good to go. Just consider what you want to have as your staples. Have a good rain jacket, have some really good walking sneakers. A couple of things like that will be super useful, but you won't need to bring your whole closet. I do promise you that. In terms of your carry-on luggage, when you are packing, please make sure to bring a couple of things. So acceptance letters, travel documents, like I would bring a paper form of your passport, also save that on the cloud and bring that with you as well. COVID-19 related documents, definitely bring your vaccination card, things like that. I would say it's not a bad idea to bring like a change of clothes, something like that on the plane. And then finally, this is perhaps the most important one. When it comes to your medications, do not pack those in your check bags. Make sure if you are bringing medication over for your semester, especially if it's in quite a large quantity because you're going over with a semester supply, you bring that on your carry-on. Please make sure it's please make sure it's in the original packaging. You don't want to put it like a bunch of pills in a Ziploc bag, for instance, with no label. That's just asking for trouble. And if you are able to get, a letter from your doctor stating what exactly is here, any extra support can work as well. But the big things are put it in your carry-on luggage, make sure it's clearly marked and in its original packaging. You're also just going to want to make sure that it's legal in that country. This is usually not a problem, but I know there's a number of students here that are going to different countries. So please do just check on that to make sure you're good to go. For your check bags, just some basic instructions here. It's kind of common sense, but also it can be hard and overwhelming when you're packing because you're going abroad and you're nervous and you're not really sure what to do. So comfy shoes and clothes, you do want to look good while you're abroad, but you also want to be comfortable when you're walking through all these really beautiful cities and when you're trekking up all those hills. Wear layers and prepare for weather. You never know when it's going to rain, when it's going to be windy, when it's going to be cold. So layers can often be really helpful. Athletic clothes. And just dress for the occasion. If you're doing an internship, for instance, make sure you've got some really good clothing. But just be mindful of your experience and what you're going to be getting up to. Prepare for that. But again, try not to overpack. All right, so just some basic technology information that you might find helpful for when you're abroad. Try not to bring any hair dryers or appliances. The simple fact is that oftentimes when you bring those abroad, they will usually fry like an entire electrical system. So I would say for those things specifically, if you really, really need them, just get them get them in your host country, with so you don't have to worry about converters and adapters and things like that. Hair dryers in particular, I would say, cause the biggest problems when it comes to plugging things in and then starting fires. So just be really, really mindful of that. Adapters and converters, definitely do some research online to see what you need to do for all of your electronics. For phone, this is totally different from country to country, but generally, first things first, you will want to check with your provider to see, hey, how much will it actually be for me to get an international phone plan and be charged that for my entire semester abroad? So look into that. Maybe you'll find it's really reasonable, and maybe you'll find it's exorbitant. If it is exorbitant, I just wanted to let you know that for definitely every country here, you would have the opportunity to just simply go over and get a SIM card. So basically what this is you will go over, you will go to a phone shop, you will get a SIM, pop your current SIM out, and then place that one in. So what that does for you is that gets you on a local phone plan, which is often really, really affordable. Especially when you're considering it against, say, an international phone plan that may charge you 80, 90, 100 or more dollars per month. You can often get a phone plan that's $10 or $20 a month with a new number. It would be a new number, it would be a local number. So I know some people, they want to keep their number, but just saying there's absolutely ways for you to do this in a cost-effective manner. Something else you just want to be aware of is two-step verification. Every single semester, I have students who don't have the Authenticator app or Duo, and they get abroad and something changes and they simply can't log into their UNC account. So just make sure everything is set up for two-factor authentication. Make sure you're good to go, because it would be a real bummer if you do get locked out and because you're abroad, you're not able to log into your accounts. We do obviously want you to be checking in with your UNC accounts while you're abroad, just in case you're missing anything. So just be aware of that. More basic information, but honestly, this is super critical. And I bet someone here is going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to address this. So I'm really glad I'm talking about it. Passports, they need to be valid 6 months past your return date. So not 6 months from now, but 6 months from your return date. So if you are going abroad September 1st and you are coming back on December 15th, it needs to be valid 6 months past December 15th of 2022. So if you have a passport that is expiring in the first half of 2023, then that's something you need to get on top of as soon as possible. So please do that. And please reach out to your study abroad advisor as well to just keep them in the loop and let them know, like, hey, I figured out that I have to renew my passport. Here's the steps I'm taking as soon as possible. Something else is visa or residency permits. Again, we have students here from a number of different, that are going to a number of different countries. So please complete personal research on the visa or residency permit that your country requires. Undoubtedly, your UNC study abroad advisor or your program advisor, if you're working with one of those, they have probably already filled you in on steps you need to take if you do need that. But it's just really good to double check. You don't want to get to a month before your program and realize you needed to take steps to obtain a residency permit or a visa. So please do make sure you're on top of that. And if you are working with an advisor from your institution, such as API or CYA or any other program, they will often be your best resource. Go straight to them and say, hey, I haven't heard much about visas. Do I need one? And they'll be sure to fill you in. In terms of your flights, I know that some of you are probably still waiting to actually receive your official acceptance. I bet most of you by now have received your official acceptance from host institutions, but some of you maybe haven't. I know I advise for a lot of the UK, Ireland, and King's College London is still waiting to send those letters of acceptance out. So they're on the edge of their seat. If you are still waiting, please know it's not uncommon at this point to be waiting for fall. But what we do ask you to do is just wait until you actually have your acceptance letter before booking your flights. It's not great if for some reason you're not admitted and then you book this flight that's non-refundable. We don't want to put you in a position like that. So just make sure you have your acceptance prior to booking. If you have the ability to do it, direct is often a great way to do things, or I should say layovers are fine, but just be careful if you are leaving the airport, if you are doing an international flight. Let's say you've got like a 12-hour layover in Lisbon or another city, and you're like, oh, cool, I want to check this city out. Just make sure that if you are leaving the airport on your way to your host destination, that there won't be any issues coming back through immigration as you do come back for that flight. So my overall advice probably would be, if you are doing a layover somewhere, just hang tight in the airport until that flight to get to your host destination. But if you did have plans to leave the airport and explore the city because you've got quite a long layover, just make sure that when you're coming back through immigration, you're going to be good to go to get back into the airport. A couple of other things, just be careful with your flights in terms of, booking tickets. Consider, are they refundable? Do I need insurance? Things like that. You may get a really, really, really good rate on a ticket, but it may be something that that is not refundable, in which case maybe you do want that flexibility. So if you do have the ability to perhaps spend just a little bit more to have a semi-refundable ticket, that could be something that could be really good for you. And also, you may just want to purchase travel insurance as well. A year ago, I was saying 100% get travel insurance because COVID was so unpredictable. Now I feel a little bit less like that. However, it's always a personal decision. If you want that extra comfort, then I 100% I support your decision to get the travel insurance. However, it's certainly not a requirement on our end. In terms of entry requirements, again, you're going to a number of different countries. So I just want to make you aware that it will probably be different. Countries have different requirements for you to come into the country, especially with COVID. So make sure you are doing your research online to make sure you've done everything you need to do in order to enter the country. For instance, do you need a negative COVID test? Do you need your vaccine card when you arrive? Do you need to complete a passenger locator form? Anything like that, just make sure you're talking with your study abroad advisor at UNC, your advisor with your host program, and just doing your own personal research online. And this note here about more details being shared at your program region-specific session. Some of you will have that. Some of you have already had that, where you meet with your study abroad advisor to go over a more region-specific pre-departure event. But also some of you will not be having that. I know I've got some students here from API as well as CYA. Please do speak specifically with your API or CYA advisor to just go over that information and make sure you're good to go for entry requirements. All right, thank you all for hanging tight. I'm gonna pass shortly off to Kate. Just got a little bit more here. Y'all are hanging and I'm really grateful for your patience. So the really fun stuff, we're gonna talk about academics now. I know you all are on the edge of your seat. One thing we do like to clarify for you is that study abroad is not really a trip. It's a program, right? I think a lot of people do use the word trip, and that's okay. But we want you to really keep in mind that this is a lot more than just like a quick travel trip. This is a full program that you're going to be completing for a semester. So I think when you call it a program, it really adds a little bit more weight to it, and it has you consider just a couple more things. So some of those things that you should consider. If you're sick or not feeling well or something's gone wrong, make sure you're informing people around you. Make sure you're informing your community on the ground, whether that be friends, family. Make sure you are letting the host institution know. And please do make sure you're letting your professors and local faculty, anyone else know as well. Just make sure the communication lines are open and clear, just so everyone is on the same page. You are abroad, we want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, and we want to make sure that the people who need to know do know when you're not feeling well or things aren't going well. Another great thing is if you're going to travel or you're going to be away for a little while, again, let people know. I've had programs before where students did not let a single person know that they were going to be leaving for 5 days to go to Berlin. And then people were really worried. We were on the verge of submitting missing persons reports because those people weren't really checking their emails and checking their phones. That's really stressful. So if you have the ability to do so, and almost certainly you do, just make sure you're telling your friends, your family, people on the ground that, hey, I'm going to be in Berlin for 5 days. Don't worry, shoot me an email. I will have internet in and out, but that's where I'm going to be. So don't worry about me. I'll let you know if anything comes up. That's so helpful for us because it's not great to get that phone call or that email where someone says, I haven't seen my friend in 5 days. I don't know where they are. Academic systems. So again, just speaking broadly here, but it's almost certainly going to be quite a bit different than UNC. One of the, I think, pros of that is UNC is incredibly focused on busy work, and I would say has a lot of assignments. Each week you have quizzes, you have midterms, you have essays. I think generally speaking, when you go abroad, you'll find that you have less busy work by the week, and instead you'll have larger, more impactful assignments that play a larger role in your grade. So I know in the United Kingdom, for instance, and in Ireland, for each course, you may only have 3, maybe 4 assignments that are graded for the entire term for that one class. And in some cases, it's 2. So it'll often be more independent, a more graduate style approach, and they won't really hold your hand in many cases. So just make sure you're staying on top of your syllabus, you know exactly what you need to read, and make sure you are prepared for those assignments if you do only have maybe 2 or 3 assignments that are graded throughout the semester. Finally, I already mentioned this, but I'll just mention it one more time. We register you for your placeholder at UNC. So registration for most of you has already occurred, but again, if it has not occurred, please make sure to clear any holds you've got on your account so we can register you for fall of 2022. And finally, I know students in my region have been fantastic at this, but if you do have any concerns about accessibility, you need any accommodations, please email the account that is listed here, accessibilityabroad@unc.edu. That individual will connect you and basically start the chain that needs to occur to make sure that all of your needs are met at your host institution. Because certainly anything that you get at UNC in terms of accommodations for tests, quizzes, papers, anything like that, we want to make sure that you get it at your host institution as well. All right, credit transfer. This is my last part, and then I'm going to hand you off to Kate. I also know that there is just an unbelievable amount of text on this page. I know that's overwhelming, but we just wanted to make sure that you were as prepared as possible before you go. So just to kind of clarify here, most of you will probably have transfer credit for your program, but I want to clarify graded credit versus transfer credit. So graded credit is doing a UNC program. So if you're going on a UNC honors program, for instance, you're doing graded credit. That means it's just like taking a class at UNC, except you're a couple thousand miles away. Whatever grade you get will impact your GPA. With transfer credit, it's a little bit differently. So basically for transfer credit programs, if you get the equivalent of a C or better, the credit will come back to UNC and it will not negatively impact your GPA. In fact, it will not impact your GPA at all. It'll stay exactly the same. However, if you get a C- or worse, the credit will not come back to UNC and it will count as a fail. So for those of you doing transfer credit programs, do keep that in mind. C or above, credit comes back, no changes. C- or below, it will count as a fail and it will negatively impact your UNC GPA. In terms of specifically requesting credits for your courses, I've been getting a lot of emails about this week, but it's actually right in front of you. So if you look in your UNC Study Abroad portal, there is a link there, and we've actually just named exactly what it is here. It's the link to credit portal and steps for transferring. It is awesome. It provides you with every bit of information that you need to know for transferring credits. It also allows you to submit syllabi, coursework, things like that, so it can be reviewed prior to departure. So if you have courses you're interested in taking and you found some syllabi online or you've reached out to the host institution, you are in a great position to submit that coursework for review so you can best understand what kind of credits you are going to get. We do ask you to submit these as soon as possible, but we also understand that students aren't always in a position to submit their credit requests tomorrow. So we do just ask that you submit it within 30 days of getting to your host institution, because by that point, you'll definitely have all of your syllabi and you'll definitely have all of the information you need, such as what courses you're registered in, to submit those courses for review. A couple of reminders before we move on to Kate. You can't get any credit for courses related to alcohol, so please do keep that in mind. And please, please, please keep all of your syllabi and your coursework. There will likely come a point where you do need to upload some of that just to kind of prove that you've done a couple of things. So please just make sure you are keeping all of that in case UNC credit transfer does ask you for that. And then finally, the credit email is right there. It's super, super helpful. So if you want to reach out to Jade, you can reach her at credit_abroad@unc.edu, and she will be happy to answer any of your questions. All right, so thank you so much for listening to me. I know that is so admin oriented and a lot of it's just like, but you needed to know it and I'm really grateful. And Kate, I'm gonna pass it off to you.
Awesome. I don't know how much admin stuff I have, but we'll try to, I just want to be cognizant of time. So I don't want to repeat a lot of stuff, but going into more health and safety tips, you know, I'm sure you all know this by now and what to pack in terms of, you know, traveling during COVID, but, you know, here's another list. I know we already talked especially about bringing those acceptance letters, any health insurance, having your vaccine card on you if that is something that your host country requires, emergency budgeting, you know, hopefully things kind of stay where they are and there isn't a need to rush back or kind of change plans, but just having that extra budget on the side in case, as well as housing accommodations if you were to have to quarantine. Yeah, COVID vaccine, I already mentioned that. Just keep up to date with what's going on. The CDC, WHO, US slide deck, yeah, it'll be shared. Just kind of keeping in touch with everything, even while you're there, is super important. So just some tips in general, kind of COVID and not COVID related, just keeping some addresses on you of either maybe your apartment or where you're taking classes abroad in English and a local language. If something were to happen to your phone or you have all this information stored, you definitely want to have, you know, another way of kind of just having this on you is super helpful, as well as emergency numbers. So maybe someone at your host institution or a parent or guardian back in the States. Just be cognizant, be aware of your surroundings, keep an eye on your property. I know I have a little like side purse, so just kind of like if you have one of those, kind of keep that in front of you. A backpack, make sure it's zipped. Obviously if you're going out, let someone know, go with someone, make sure that you're with people, you're not walking alone, and just try to really integrate yourself, kind of living like a local and just avoiding obviously protests and demonstrations. That you know, just common sense, and as well as just knowing the laws of COVID, as well as generally curfews, if there anything like that you need to know. All right, just a little bit more, I guess, of a sensitive slide, but also very important to talk about. So before going abroad, just wherever you're going, familiarize yourself with whatever cultural context you'll be in your host country, and we want to be there to provide resources to you while you're there. So yeah, just again, more of common sense, keep track of your friends, be mindful if you are somewhere alone with someone that you don't know. And if someone does disclose an incident to you, respond with support, kind of ask what they need and listen actively. And like I said, we might not physically be there, but we are always available for any type of support that you might need. So these are just some resources to reach out to. But besides us, to also reach out to you know, people in your program. They're obviously there on the ground to help with instances like this as well. So we just wanted to give you these resources and let you know that they're available. Some more resources, and like I said, this is recorded, so you won't have to memorize all of this. These resources you can go back and look at, but we definitely recommend enrolling in what's called STEP. So just like you get notifications here at UNC if you know, weather, crime, or something on campus, that's just kind of this is a similar system just to get updates. And these are other resources as well, which I've kind of already touched on, but as well as us as far as emergency contacts. This is the, if you don't have it already, the number of the UNC police that you can call as well. But we do have someone that would be on call if you needed to reach us first. All right, as far as, while you're there living abroad, just important to keep in mind that whatever country you're in, if you're traveling for the weekend or wherever, if you're taking classes, you're an ambassador of UNC. You're kind of wearing that hat on you all the time. So just kind of be cognizant. Public transit obviously depends on the country, but that might be something that you're not used to and you have to kind of get adjusted to. So whatever host city you're in, if that's a major way of transportation, definitely keep that in mind as an option. Housing, again, I don't want to go too much into it because I know there's a lot of different programs, but whether you're at a homestay or in a dorm, in an apartment, be respectful with your surroundings, with the locals, be okay with differences. You're going to experience differences, and that's a good thing. So kind of familiarize yourself with different cultural norms. If there's a different language that is being spoken there, try to, Duolingo is great. If just to prepare yourself over the summer, that's what I remember. I did that and it was super helpful before I even got there and started taking a language class. So just do your research. All right, as far as identity abroad, kind of like I said, just be prepared that, wherever you might be going, you might be perceived differently than how you are at home or at UNC. So regardless of these differences, just express yourself. There's no need to hide that, but do reflect and kind of research on your host country and how your identities kind of fit into that before going abroad, and then look into your program's identity-based resources as well. We also have, this is on our website, and we have the link below, I believe, yeah. Just resources that we have on our website to kind of help you explore, if you wish, different aspects of your identity, and just kind of putting that in an international study abroad context. And then we also have a big group of study abroad alumni who would love to chat with you all as you're preparing to go abroad. And we have a session tomorrow, actually, with alumni that will answer questions. But, you might relate to these students and appreciate hearing about their experience abroad. And maybe there's a certain identity that you hold that you're looking to, hear about other people's experiences about. So definitely something to keep in mind. I know the alumni love to talk about their experiences and want to help you all out. So almost done. All right, we do want to mention culture shock because I would say most people experience some sort of degree of culture shock, no matter where they're going. So just keep in mind that while you're there, there's going to be highs and lows, and your path may look like this graph right here. It might look different, but it's very normal and it's expected. You're somewhere new. You're spending a semester in a new country, away from your house and your normal routine and structure, which is exciting. You're meeting new people, but it's coming with challenges as well. So just being aware that you'll probably experience this and that it's okay, and there are support structures and resources to help you with that. But just a tip, just go easy on yourself. It's going to take time to, like Ben was saying, it's not a trip, it's a program. So you're going to want to implement different, routines and structures while you're there, and that's going to take time. So just, but you utilize this experience, talk with new people. Other people are going through the same thing. So talking about culture shock can definitely help. And just self-care, whatever you do here, for self-care, if that's working out, meditating, journaling, definitely do that there as well. All right, I believe this is our last slide. Got to end with some more resources. I think this first one should be fall, but I think this was in an email that was sent out.
It absolutely should. I'll fix it.
But yeah, no, that link is in an email that you received with all this information. So just ignore the top part.
Absolutely ignore it. Yeah, you'll see that you got the email today with the 2022 fall abroad.
Yeah.
So apologies for this. Ignore.
Awesome. So then you also should have been in contact or heard about your program or region specific session. If there is one, I know for RES, they have their own sessions. So I know I've told my students that they won't have to sit through another one of our sessions for this. The student panels tomorrow, like I mentioned, definitely a really great resource. You can ask them any questions that, we might not be able to answer, just kind of wanting that student perspective. If you haven't done or looked at the Heals Abroad handbook, please do that. That is super helpful. And you have to take a quiz on that too. So hopefully you've looked at it. Study abroad peer ambassadors, the UNC and host website advisors, all that great stuff. If you don't follow us on social media, please do. That is all we have. I know we had a couple questions.
Yeah, we do.
Chat.
Thanks so much, Kate. I will have a look at some of these questions and see what we can go through here. So the first question that we received is it possible to delay billing for scholarship purposes like normal at UNC semester? So if you at all want to alter your billing schedule or do it in installments, something like that, you'll need to reach out directly to the cashier's office. But what I can tell you is that if you have any scholarship related questions, you can always reach out to our scholarship coordinator at fa_studyabroad@unc.edu. We make sure that our scholarships align with billing. So if you did receive any scholarships or financial aid for your fall 2022 semester, we'll make sure that those are in place prior to your billing actually having to be paid. So we don't want to put you in a tough spot, but if you have any other questions about that, just reach out to Sharon at fa_studyabroad@unc.edu or contact the cashier's office to talk about installment payments. Another question we've got here is, how long does it take for a course to be approved after submitting a request? It depends. If they're going to a specific academic department, some departments are like that. It's just lightning fast, and some are a little bit slower. So something you can do is after you submit a request, if you haven't heard anything in say 3 or 4 weeks, just reach out to the credit_abroad@unc.edu email and just say, hey, I'm just curious, looking for an update on this. Do you know when I might hear back? And then maybe we can nudge the academic departments. But yeah, it does vary, but I'd say in general, getting it in earlier is better as it gives us more time to process that information. Another question. If I still choose to take alcohol-related courses, will the credit hours count towards the 15 credit hour minimum to remain a full-time student? So those credits would not come back to UNC. So again, if you have any intentions of enrolling in any alcohol-related courses, please send the syllabus as well as any course description you have to your study abroad advisor. There are some unique exceptions. For instance, I know there's a CYA course, College Year in Athens course, that does have alcohol as kind of involved in the course, and we have approved that course because it's a very small component. But overall, we don't want you enrolling in those because you just simply won't bring the credit back in any way, shape, or form. So please be in touch with your advisor if you are looking to enroll in any alcohol-related courses. Next question. All right. Will the slide deck be shared after this meeting? Yes, I will distribute this to all advisors, and then I'll make sure that this slide deck goes out. Also, this presentation has been recorded, and we're going to make sure to put it on the fall 2022 pre-departure website. So you all received an email this morning with the password for that. By tomorrow morning, this presentation will be up there if you want to review the presentation as well. And we've just got one more question here before we maybe take a couple more questions. Is there a way we can see who else may be in our program? So that's something I would recommend reaching out to your advisor about. they may be in a position to share rosters with you. I know for me, for a lot of my programs, if there are other people on the program, I've shared rosters, but that's not the case for all programs. So step one, just say, hey, UNC advisor, I'm on this program. Can you share any contact information with me? And they may be able to do that for you. Okay, another question here. Okay, someone is requesting that I tell them where they can review this presentation at a later date. So you can review it in the fall 2022 pre-departure website. So just this morning, you received an email, or you should have received an email. If you didn't, please reach out to your study abroad advisor. It included pre-departure information, and it includes the password and the link to get into the resources website. So this presentation will be listed there by tomorrow morning. Okay, we've got another question here. I cannot enroll in Student Blue for 22 fall now, a Blue Cross Blue Shield customer service professional. Chow, I would reach out to your study abroad advisor about that. So just so you know, enrollment will be automatic for GeoBlue. You don't enroll in GeoBlue, we automatically enroll you. And if you're having issues with that, just reach out to your UNC study abroad advisor and they'll be sure to provide you with some resources or advice to move forward. At this point, I've gone through all the questions we've got in the chat.
I think we have
Does anyone else have any questions?
Darren, I think has a question.
Yes. So I'm enrolled in Student Blue with UNC, but the university pays for it. So when I'm enrolled automatically for GeoBlue, does UNC also pays for it since they pay for my insurance here in the US?
Probably not. So basically, whatever your program cost is, the cost of insurance is rolled into that program. So if you are getting scholarships or financial aid towards your program and it's covering much of the cost, I guess you can say that UNC is covering that. However, when it comes to like your final balance for your program, GeoBlue costs for insurance are included in that, and you'll be expected to pay that.
Okay, perfect. And then my second question is, I know in the pre-departure handbook, it said that to look out to not get a round trip, just in case when you get to the host country, they won't allow you to get in if you don't have like a round trip. But I didn't find anything, and I don't know if that's specifically with your program or specifically with the country that you're going to.
Yeah, I would say that that varies by country. For instance, again, going back to my region, United Kingdom and Ireland, oftentimes when you arrive, they will ask for proof of a departure flight because they just want to see that you're actually going to leave the country. So I would say, I don't know where you're going exactly, but continue to complete some research and also be in touch with your advisor about best practices there. I advise all of my students for my regions of the world, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, to get a return flight or just get a flight that leaves. For instance, if you maybe want to travel afterwards, get like a 10 euro bus pass or bus trip to France from England or something incredibly cheap just to show you're leaving the country. But yeah, be in touch with your advisor to see what maybe your country specifically requires for that.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. All right. So Ashley asks, can you remind me what GeoBlue covers? It is comprehensive international health insurance, Ashley. So it covers pretty much everything that international health insurance should require, doctor's appointments, emergencies, possible evacuation. You will get a lot more information on that when you receive your enrollment message. But if you want to go on their website, it's GeoBlue, and you can have a look at what their comprehensive international health insurance covers. But we will definitely send you more information on that prior to departure. Claire asks, is the panel discussion tomorrow mandatory? It is not mandatory, but encouraged. It's just a bunch of study abroad returnees who have really good thoughts and ideas to share with you. So it's going to be a platform for you to ask questions. There may be some students there who are actually from the program that you're going to be going on. So it might be really, really great. And even if they're not, it's just great to get the perspective of students who have come back and have a lot of, wisdom to share. And also just, it's better listening to them than it is listening to me, right? So great to hear from your fellow students. Sorry, Kate, I'm really slow, by the way, and I see you answered that in the chat.
You're good.
Everyone's just like, please move on.
I think
All
that
right.
was it.
Jennifer, I would just reach out to your study abroad advisor. I'm not sure what program you're on, but you definitely should have received an email today with the fall 2022 information. Jennifer and Abby, what programs are y'all on?
I'm part of the University of Oslo. Is where I'll be going.
Oslo. Okay, thank you.
I'm part of the Universidad Carlos III from Spain.
Okay. I'll just send a reminder out to advisors, just asking them to make sure that that email goes out. No worries. It's not the biggest deal that you didn't receive it this morning, but we'll make sure it gets to you by the end of the day. Thank you all. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions before we wrap up here?
Someone
Just
else?
like your, was someone else speaking?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Like just for your specific study abroad advisor, like do I just go to the website to look at like what country mine has jurisdiction over, or?
Yeah. What's your program?
It's API Barcelona.
Yeah. So you can meet with me to talk about like just general overview of API stuff. But in terms of like, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of Barcelona, then I recommend reaching out directly to your API Barcelona advisor, who you've probably been in touch with as you apply.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ayana, I see your question in the chat about the resource page. That's just where this session is going to be uploaded. So if you wanted to rewatch this ever, and it just has more resources that you can refer back to.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering what the password was for because I didn't receive the email. I'm in the Yonsei University program.
Yonsei, okay.
I'll be in touch with Derek. He'll send that message out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you all so much for your, attention. As our last slide says, we really, really appreciate it. I understand that this was more of a general overview, but I do hope that the general information we provided was really helpful for you. So again, 2 things moving forward. You have a UNC study abroad advisor who you can connect with, and you may also have an advisor for your specific host institution. So again, for API, for CYA, you've been working very closely with an advisor. They're a wonderful resource moving forward as well. But if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're really grateful you can make it today, and thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.